Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm so excited to have you all here today. For anybody who doesn't know me, I am Allison Cooper, the founder of Influencer Secrets Academy. And today I am joined with Krissy from K&C Creative. And you guys, this is a really important conversation for me today that you all really pay attention to, because we are going to dive into all things web design and the importance of having a website as your home base, even as an influencer. So Krissy, I'm going to turn it over to you. Share a little bit about yourself, your business, what you do, and then we'll dive into the questions.
Yes, amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I think the most important thing for y'all to know is that I'm not a one-woman show. So 9 years ago, I picked up the phone and made a very nervous phone call to my youngest sister. And I told her, I have this business idea. I have no idea if it's going to be successful or not, but I have all of the content and I have the messaging and I have the copy, but I need a website. And I know that you have done websites for the work that you're doing, and like, would you come and do this with me? And right there, we decided that we were going to partner up for this business. Now that business ended up going on to earn our first $1 million in revenue in under 2 years. We grew the membership to 6,000 members. And that business still exists with a membership today. But in that process, we realized that so many business owners were missing this critical piece to their business and their growth strategy, which was a website. And so we ended up creating K&C Creative to help individuals build high-end websites that actually work. Because there are two of us, we have completely different strengths, even though we're sisters. If you've seen pictures, we look very similar. People ask us if we're twins, but we have very different personalities and very different strengths. I love all things strategy, messaging, sales. Claire is a genius with design. And so we approach websites with a really holistic approach, working together and with business owners to take a look at their overall goal of their business, and then making sure that their website is designed and functions to achieve that goal through the messaging, the copy, and the design all together. So you can do more of the things that you love doing, which for most people, it's like either spending more time with their family or spending more time on other passion projects that they want to do.
So true. I love that. I love how you both have those different assets that you bring to the table. That's pretty incredible. All right. Well, I'm going to dive right in. We've got a lot of juicy questions to go over. First, for influencers who are just getting started, why is having a personal website still important in 2025, especially when so many people are relying on social, especially Instagram?
Yeah. So I think it was 2 years ago, I woke up one morning and my Instagram was gone. 20,000 followers gone, years of content gone. I was hacked. I was blocked out. I worked for weeks trying to get it back with the platform, with other people, and I couldn't get it back. And we were in the middle of a launch for one of our programs. And if I had been relying solely on social media, I would have been devastated. But since websites and email marketing has always been our strength, social media is really just sort of like a side thing of like, okay, we should be doing that here too. And I was able to craft an email, send out an email, and generated $39,000 that day in the business because of email. When I was blocked out of there, another time when social media went down, it was a few years ago when Instagram and Facebook, all of that went down. It was like, we've got email. We can still talk to our people and communicate. So really, that's a huge piece. Like, your site could be taken away. You could be banned. It could get hacked. And so having a safe place, an email list you can back up, right? And get access to a website where you can send people and they can get information. 70% of consumers visit a website before they purchase. So I like to think about, if people want to stalk you, they go to your social media. When people want to work with you, they go to your website to really see like, okay, what is he or she all about? And how can we work together? So that is just like, your website is really the 2025 business card of 2015. It's like, back in the day, everyone had a business card. That was like a thing you had to have. Now it's a website. Certainly with the accessibility of people being able to create their own websites, everyone has one now. So if you don't, you're falling behind.
That is so true. And like, great tip there about, if people are going to work with you, because this is one thing I bring up in our mastermind group a lot, how, if you want to create something to sell people, it's really important to have that sort of home base that you own.
Mm-hmm.
And, we just experienced this with TikTok, even though when I left, it went dark and then it came back, but people were freaking out because a lot of people solely base their businesses on TikTok, and hopefully everybody's learned their lesson.
Yeah, I love social media. I don't love it. Like, it's not my,
I feel you.
I really want to spend time being, but I love that it's a place where we can find leads and connect with people. Like, there's a time and place for our business. To have it be the sole place where you put your offerings, like, it's just, you can't control the content there like you can on a website, and really highlight and speak to the people you want to speak to.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that just kind of occurred to me, because like, I am the person who loves data, and we get only so much from Instagram, like their analytics only tells us so much. But when you have a website and you have Google Analytics linked to that website, you get this huge, in-depth, deep dive view of data surrounding your customers or your, visitors, followers, what they're really looking at and what they're really interested in. And that can drive, revenue making choices as well.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so moving on, what are the top 3 must-have pages every influencer or content creator should include on their website, even if it's super simple?
Okay, if I could only pick 3 pages that you must have on your website.
I have more.
I would say your homepage, your about page, and a work with me partnerships page. A contact page is super simple, but we could put your contact information on the footer. So if there's only 3, it's going to be those. Your homepage that you're going to send people to and have that clear call to action. Your about page, if you're going to work with brands and even just bring in customers, they're going to want to know your values. And that's something that you can share on your about page and strategically lead them to what you want them to take action with. And then a work with me / partnerships page for sure. People want to know how they can work with you. You need to have it be very clear how they can do that. And so that page is going to just highlight more.
Love that. So super, super important. When it comes to design, what are a few common mistakes you see influencers making on their website that can actually turn brands off? Listen up, everybody.
Yes. I would say not investing in your design. So when someone comes to your website, you are judged on your website in 0.05 seconds. I've got lots of stats for all of you people who love numbers.
Love it.
You love data.
Love those stats.
Well, think about that. 0.05 seconds, a half a second, someone is instantly judging you based on your design on your website. So not investing in design, and it doesn't necessarily mean, you have to hire it out. There's other things that you can do, but that is just something that is going to turn people off. If it looks very, can I say half-ass?
You can say it. I let them slip all the time. Like, I'm going to a soldier. Well, he's retired now, but I'm like, you just can't help it.
Okay. It's the first impression, and first impressions matter. Other big mistakes that we see in design. Now, Claire, again, is the design genius. I've learned so much through her. I know what's really important, but when it comes to actually designing, I'm going to leave that up to Claire because she's going to make it look amazing. But overwhelming your audience in color. So that doesn't mean that you can't have a brand that has really bright colors. It's amazing. If bright colors are your jam, we welcome it, we want it. As opposed to everyone with tans and taupes. All right. It's that was the era for a little while. But what I do see a lot of people making mistakes on is lots of color everywhere. And pink here, and then the next color block is blue, and then like it's too much, and it subconsciously overwhelms your audience, and they want to leave. Like they don't even know why they want to leave. They're just like, I can't do it. And then spacing, improper spacing is another big one. When it comes to design, a lot of times things feel really cramped. And so we want to give it breathing room. We want to give it space. We want to have that negative space to allow your visitor to read it, to process it, and then to move through. So that's just something else I'll see. If you love writing or you love talking, then you might be like a heavy copy person. So we don't want like big sections of font. And so that's where design comes in. So just kind of those things that we just commonly see over and over and over again. Is not using the colors properly and in a strategic way, and then spacing just kind of being a nightmare.
I love that you brought up how they might not realize why they're wanting to leave, because I feel like it's really important to note that a lot of things that you brought up, like it's things that if you don't have a trained eye in this, and this is a good reason to hire somebody to do, your website for you, because if you're not thinking about these things, it's not part of your everyday workflow, you might overlook them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, so much of it is subconscious. So when someone's coming to your website, there's a lot of subconscious things that are happening that, again, if you're not a professional, not in this day in, day out, you're not thinking about it, and your customer's not thinking about it. And just think about all of the things that we are exposed to every single day, all of the offers that are put in front of us with social media. Like we are completely overstimulated, and everyone's nervous system seems to be shot. Yeah. And so if they're coming to your website and it's more overload for them, and they just get an internal feeling of overwhelm and anxiety, they're going to leave. Like they're not going to want to work with you. And it's these little things that you haven't thought about. It's not your fault. Yeah. You're not a website designer, right? You're not a copywriter. So no one's faulting you. This is just why it's so important to lean on the professionals who have studied this, who understand this, so they can implement the right things, so that your customers come and they like fall in love and they start reading and they get more connected, and they're like, oh my gosh, like I have to click, I have to see more, I have to know, like this sounds perfect, I'm moving forward. That's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Well, then sort of to piggyback on that, let's kind of shift over to branding a little bit. How can someone create a cohesive brand presence across their site and social media platforms, even if they're not a designer?
So the most important thing is consistency to have a cohesive brand. Consistency across all of the things that you do. So a consistent message, whether you're showing up in their email inbox, whether you're showing up on social media, whether they're reading your website, whether you're doing a presentation, messaging and your copy, your tone, if there's consistency there, it's really important. Now, you might have heard a lot of people say like authenticity is really important with a brand. I recently heard it was Seth Godin say, it's not authenticity, it's the consistency in your messaging. Now, consistency in your messaging and your copy is a lot easier when you are authentic. Yeah. Right? Like if you're trying to be someone else and then you like slip back into like who you really are, it's like, oh shoot, I'm talking this way, this place and this and whatever. So when you are authentic and it's you, it becomes a lot easier to talk the same on my social and on my email and on my website. But that's one huge one. Colors and aesthetics, a great way to be consistent. Colors across the board. Now, if you have signature fonts for your brand, that's amazing. Those fonts, if you're someone who does reels and you do it in the app, you might not be able to select the same fonts. Mm-hmm. Pick something that's similar enough, right? Unless you're creating graphics and Canva can really do your fonts. But colors and fonts are a great way to create cohesion through your brand. And then like logo and your photo. So consistency with that. If you are on LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok, let's use the same profile photo across the board. So if I go across platforms and I'm finding you, I'm recognizing that right away versus, okay, we've got a different picture. If you use Voxer, which is like an app where you can like walkie-talkie back and forth, have the same picture, like create this recognition across everywhere that you're showing up. across the board. And so that will just create a really cohesive brand feel.
I love that. Great tips. And a lot of this you could do in Canva, like, like do it on your own. Can you break down what makes a website brand pitch friendly? What features or structure help influencers land more paid collaborations?
Yeah. So harping on the professional look. If they come to their site, if you're looking to work with brands to promote their products or collaborate or do anything like that, they want to have trust in you that you're going to be professional, right? You're representing their brand. And so you really need to build that trust. So the professional look goes with the design, goes with the copy, is going to be amazing. The work with me page or the partner page, again, having it be really clear. So this is like your clean pitch. If you were going to go pitch a brand and you're all over the place and it's just like chaos, right? They're like, I'm not going to want to work with this person. So having a very clear and organized work with me or partner page, again, is going to build that trust. It's going to want them to work with you more. I would certainly say a media kit with up-to-date stats or audience demographics if you're someone who's trying to work to post on social media. So we also have an e-commerce brand, and we're crafting why the words are eluding me right now, but basically like an affiliate partnership or like a brand ambassador program. Yeah. Right. And so as the business owner that's looking for people like this, I want to know right away, who is your audience? Who do you serve? What are the demographics? I want to know what your values are. Like, we have a brand deck and a brand guide that has our business core values. I want to know that the people that we are partnering with have the same values that we have. Yeah. I want to know who your audience is, because if I'm paying you or providing you with products, that's my marketing budget. And so I want to know, are the people that you're going to attract going to be a good fit for our business? So if it is up in front and center on your website and you've got that marketing kit and you've got the stats there, and I can, I'm looking at a ton of different people. If I see what I like, I'm going to reach out. Okay. Mm-hmm. So then, is it easy for me to reach out to you? Is there a contact page or a contact section in the footer? And when I contact you, are you responsive? Right. Mm-hmm. So like picking that place where if you show up in DMs and mostly you do Instagram collaborations, then that would be fine. If email is going to be the way to contact, or you want me to call or text, like just make sure it's really clear and easy for me to contact you. So those in terms of, sort of letting your site pitch for you, it's just having professionalism, having that clear work with me page that has different ways to work with you, speaks more to your demographics with that media kit page, and making sure that's up to date and then easy to contact.
Absolutely. I cannot tell you how many times I am like sourcing for a campaign and I cannot figure out how the heck to contact somebody, and you just move on to the next. It's just, that's all you can do. So if you don't have an email very clearly displayed, you're missing out on opportunities. And I will say also, I hate those contact forms. Like, have an email somewhere. Okay. Like, do not make me fill out a contact form. Like, that's awful.
Yeah, I agree. It does feel less personal.
Yeah, it does. And then you kind of like, okay, and then you click the button and it's like, okay, well, it's sent out into the universe, and you can't,
you're like, I hope it got there.
Yeah, just a little pet peeve. Okay, so how often should influencers update their websites? And what are the most important updates? Like, what matters most?
Mm-hmm. I would say we try and check our site quarterly. To make sure that links are up to date, that nothing's broken. So quarterly, just kind of booking a day to be like, all right, I'm doing my little website audit and I'm just making sure everything is working appropriately. And then focusing on updating things like your offers, your relevant offers. We change and shift so often, and that's okay. It's okay if you think you want to do this type of service or collab, and then maybe you do a couple and you're like, oh, that's not really for me. But your website was featuring it as like the best thing or the thing that you want to do or the most popular, and now you don't really want to do it. Make sure that you're updating for the most relevant offers or the most relevant ways that you want to work people, putting those front and center. If there is a service that you just have really loved doing and that clarity comes to you, update your website so that more people will book that. And then your media kit. So relevant information, like, has your audience grown tremendously? Well, if you have outdated numbers and you've doubled your following, you really want to make sure that you're updating that. Or maybe you've lost a lot of members, maybe something happened. And so getting that updated, because if a brand comes to you and is looking at your site and sees a mismatch where mostly like if it goes down, they're going to be like, okay, on here they're saying they have 10,000, but they only have 5,000. Or, you know, here they're saying they have 2,000 on their website, but they have 5,000. Like, oh, wow, they've grown. Like, I like seeing that, but it's like, okay, now if that is outdated, I'm questioning how much else is outdated, you know? So just keeping that mindful. And again, I think quarterly is, you know, not overwhelming or too much, but it can help you stay on top of those things that are changing quickly.
Great advice. Great advice. So if we shift over to the expense of a website, right? What are some things that influencers should prioritize investing in? And then things that you think, okay, they could probably DIY this.
Photography, hands down. Photography, professional photos is a must-have. Claire and I used to teach in one of our programs because we had a lot of students that maybe weren't wanting to invest in professional photography. So we created a training that was like how to take professional photos from your iPhone. And after a while, we were like, no, like we cannot teach that because we don't want to promote that. We want professional photos. Think about this as the listener here and as someone who goes to websites. Even if you see a decent design on the website, if you get to the about page or the mini about and you see a cell phone selfie, how does that make you feel? What does that make you think about that brand? To me, it gives me the impression that you're new. Okay, so if you're not new, it's like we don't want to give that impression. And even if you are, we don't want it to be obvious that we're new. It gives me the impression that you DIY'd this thing. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But when you have those elevated professional pictures, again, it just puts you in this light that you're willing to invest in your brand and your business, which is important because if I'm trying to collaborate with you, I want to know that you're invested in this.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one big thing, definitely. And there are affordable solutions. So I just learned about this company. I haven't used them personally, but in a really amazing little mixer mind thing that I'm in, the brand is Shoot, SHOOTD. You're nodding your head like, you know. So maybe your audience knows this, and I just learned. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be hands down what I recommend because you pay for the pictures that you want. In your first session, you can book for free. So you book your session for free. You have a professional photographer. They do your pictures. If you want 3 pictures or if you want 1 picture for your bio, $18. Like you can't tell me you can't afford a professional picture for your website now, right? No excuses.
Is Shoot the company that will go like if you're like on vacation, they'll meet you there? Because I know there's one that does that too.
So I'm not sure on that. However, I do know, and again, I haven't used them. I learned about this recently, but I was looking through their website, of course, because I was instantly like, this is amazing. And we have clients all over the place. So I'm wondering, where are they located? So they partner with photographers all over the place. So there were so many different locations. So 100%, if you were going on vacation, I'm sure they would be a photographer that they partner with there that you could have someone. But again, like really affordable ways to get professional pictures.
That's a great step.
Yeah. So that hands down is like invest in professional photos. And the other 2 big pieces to your website are copy and design. So if you can't hire a copy designer or don't have the investment for that, and you're going to write your own copy, or use AI to support you, like we love the AI prompts to like write copy. hire a copywriter to give you feedback. So this is something we do with our clients. Like if they want to write it, they'll send it over and they'll pay for feedback session, because then you're having the professional with the strategies that they know and understand, and they're going to give you support. So I recently had a student who submitted one of her pages for feedback. And when I went through her little services section where she had 2 services, as the outside person, I couldn't tell between the 2 offers who they were really for or how they were different. They sort of sounded the same with just different language. And so that too, just getting the outside perspective, sometimes we're so close to what we do and we're so knowledgeable that we think our language is really clear to the outside person, but really when someone else reads it, and you could ask a friend, maybe who isn't a copywriter, and just ask like, what are your thoughts? And if they're like, that's not clear, I don't know what you're talking about, then you can go and make that clear. But if you're working with a professional, they're going to really hit those blind spots and help you with a strategy on how to position different things to actually get your customer to connect and take action. So that's just one kind of hack. If you can't hire the copywriting, hire a feedback session. And then design. If you can't hire a designer to design it all, use templates. Find a template that a designer has designed, because they are building into the template those things that you're not thinking about. Yeah. They're building in the different sections and creating that space where it needs to go. They are highlighting, and you can see on the templates where they're putting the color. If you are completely design illiterate, then just follow the template and be like, oh, they have a pop of color here and here. I'm going to take my main brand color and that pop of color, I'm going to just replace it with those, as opposed to like trying to do your own thing. So investing in templates is a really affordable way. So Clara designs all of our templates with all of these strategies in mind.
So you guys, you sell the templates.
Yeah.
Because the next question was going to be, where do you recommend people purchase them from? So that's amazing.
Yeah, it really depends. Yeah, it depends on the platform, of course. So if you're using a particular platform, look for someone who does templates for that platform. So we have a lot of clients using Kajabi. So all of our templates are for Kajabi. However, we have students that really like the way that we design and want our templates. So in all of our templates, we have wireframes. So we do have students that maybe are on WordPress. And so they'll use the wireframe and just like replicate on their platform. But if there is, we're getting really into Show It. So I imagine we're going to do more Show It templates, but we have a 1-page website in a day, which is great just for beginners to just have that 1 page to get started. We have templates for Kajabi, Squarespace, Show It, WordPress, Attractable, and Get Oiling. So there's 6 different templates in there based on your platform. But yeah, find a designer that you really like. And if they're and that they're doing it on the platform that you're using, and grab their templates as like your starting point.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Just for those who are watching who don't know what a wireframe is, can you give your little definition of that? Because a lot of people watching know nothing about.
Yeah. So what you're going to want to look for in the templates, I think we either just wrote a blog or we're writing one to release it on templates and deciding what templates are great. But a wireframe is essentially, let's just say it's a PDF. So a flat lay of what the website would look like. So it's fully laid out to show like, here's the heading, here's your opt-in here, and it's showing you what it looks like. So you can see the image is the full background with the text over it, or there's text on the left and there's image on the right-hand side. So if you weren't using a platform that we built a template in where you just like click and it uploads into your platform and you're building it out on your own, you can look at the wireframe and just basically copy it. Okay, I'm going to create a section with this solid background and I'm going to pick a picture on the left and text on the right. And great, it will look like, I'll replace it with my branding colors and my image, but that's going to look like the template. So if the template is for a platform that you're not using, make sure it has some type of wireframe and there could be other language that they're using so that they're showing you exactly what it looks like and you can replicate that.
I love that. And then correct me if I'm wrong, but I know in the past when I've, done it myself and purchased a template, most of the time the designers will like respond to you via email if you have a question. Is that something that you guys do as well? Like if you're kind of like, I am stumped, I can't figure this part out, how do I do this?
Yeah, so our templates all come with step-by-step video tutorials on how to do it.
So that's incredible.
Yeah, so that's also like something to be looking for in terms of a template, especially if you're newer to a platform and you're like, I'm not super savvy. So we have step-by-step videos that show you exactly, here's how you replace the image, or here's how you change this or that. And certainly, yeah, if there's a question and you can't figure something out, like email us and we'll help you through it. So all of our templates have the step-by-step videos. Our one-page website in a day, we actually have a 4-hour workshop that you get access to, and we'll work with you like in a group setting, but it's a lot of individual work. So they're usually really small groups to give you copy feedback and help you with your design on the call. It's like a 4-hour from 10 to 2 where we're working on the call with people to design. So again, just like when you're getting templates, see what kind of support is there from this designer, this creator to help me along the way if I get stuck. Great
That's
question.
incredible, because I will say that like most people don't do that. So it's really
they don't.
It's just that is like unheard of, and it's amazing. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
So awesome. Kudos to you guys. I know that we're kind of getting to the end of our time here, but I cannot leave this call without touching on SEO a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's kind of jump into that. How do SEO and web design work together? What are some small tweaks that influencers can make so that their site shows up better in search results?
Oh, I love this. Okay. So when we think of SEO, search engine optimization, so for those that are unfamiliar, when someone's typing into Google or someone's typing into YouTube, keywords or phrases, those platforms are recommending videos or websites, right? And so the words that you have on your website, that's what most people think about when they think about SEO, is the copy. Right. So we're very mindful of when we're doing copy, where we're putting it. Some design elements are where those keywords and phrases, where you're putting them on the page, your H1s, which would be like your one header. And there's so many little things to know, like you should only have one H1 on your page. Otherwise, Google doesn't know what to prioritize. So like as a designer or someone who doesn't know about SEO, you might not realize that. And you're like, oh, I want a big line of text here and I want a big line of text here. And you're doing like 4 H1s and SEO is like, it's not good. So that's like one little thing that we're mindful of. But two of the major things when it comes to design, in relation to design and SEO, is page load speed. So the images that you're putting on your website, if they're really big images, it's going to decrease your load time. Now, customers expect your website to load in under 2 seconds. That's not very long. So the bigger file size of images you have, the slower it's going to load. The more animations you have on your website, fancy things, text is flying in and pictures are flipping and all the things that make us look really professional can decrease load speed. So strategically on the one-page website, like there's not animation in it just because like we want it to load really fast. We do love animation, and because it adds this dynamic value to your website and experience, but we don't want to overdo it to where it compromises your load speed. So that's one thing to note. Just animations, videos on your website, images, make sure that it's working for you and not affecting your load speed.
Yeah.
The other thing when it comes to design is good design gets people to stay longer, which is better for your SEO. Now, not where someone just opens up your web page and then sits there for 5 minutes. They like leave the computer and like it's open. That's not going to help with SEO. But if someone comes, they like the design, they'll start reading the copy. They'll start moving forward. If they're overwhelmed by everything we talked about before, they're going to leave. Okay. And that would be if they come and they leave, then your bounce rate's going to go up. And so that's telling Google either, oh, I didn't feed it, they searched something and I didn't give them the right website. This information was not relevant. I shouldn't recommend this when people search that. Or just that like, oh, the content wasn't very good. They didn't stay. There wasn't much value on this website. The algorithm is taking all of this into consideration when recommending you. And so if people leave right away, that's a negative ding on your SEO, on being found. If people are coming to your website, they're feeling good about it, you're making them feel wonderful, they're reading through it, they're feeling connected, they're like, oh my gosh, this mini about, I must know more about Allison. They click on learn more on the about page. Now they're reading through your about page. Oh my gosh. Oh, the services, like she does all these things. I'm going to click here on her packages or her services or her partnerships. Now they're clicking over and they're reading your partnerships, moving through the website and clicking around and traveling to other internal pages is signaling to Google that there's a lot of high value in your website. And so it is going to prioritize you amongst others. So there's lots of different little pieces that will get you to the top, you know, in your ranking. But these are just things when it comes to design that have a really big impact on that piece of search engine optimization.
Amazing. Do you have a bounce rate you suggest people kind of like, I don't know, a range that's kind of like the healthy range?
Oh God, I don't know.
I know.
I'll be honest.
Like, it's so different because like I've gone to conferences too where people have said like, well, if you're heavy on affiliate marketing and all of your blog posts are selling things, you want people to come read the blog post and then click that affiliate link and go purchase. So you almost want your bounce rate to be higher, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, so this is where it all comes down to strategy and the goal. And this is where we look at what are the goals of your business and what is your strategy for getting customers. If you're an affiliate marketer and the goal is to get them to purchase, and that's going to be on another site. Yeah, we want them to eventually do that. If SEO is a big strategic part of how you bring in leads in organic SEO, then we need to be mindful of these things, right? So at the end of the day, we're really just looking at what is it that we want to accomplish? And most of the time it's like to sell more, right? So like, what are you selling and whatnot? So if that's the case, if you're like, hey, blog post, go over, that's fine. That's okay. Like they're going to take action. They're going to purchase. So not that you would necessarily be striving for this like super high bounce rate, but if you it's just data to give you information. If your bounce rate is really high, let's strategically take a look at why is that? And this is where like the strategy piece in me, like I love looking at businesses like this. If we're like, ooh, the bounce rate's high. Oh, you're an affiliate marketer and literally everything that you do is like quick education, go to purchase, quick educate. Now we know why the bounce rate is high. Okay, are you getting more customers and clients through your affiliate? Yes, it's working. We're not changing it, right?
Love that. I love that insight. Krissy, thank you so much. I know I went over our time a little bit here, but this conversation was just too good. I couldn't stop.
I'm so glad. I'm so excited for people to get the information.
I know that everybody is going to walk away from this conversation ready to up their website game and, my whole thing is think of your influence as a business. You have to, and the website is in 2025, it is a critical piece of that. So thank you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Until next time. Bye.